Okay, so I'm here with Brian Manning, recently crowned Cage Conflict champion, 3-0 as a pro, 3 knockouts. We're going to go through his journey a little bit. I want to thank you very much for your time today. How are you? And talk to us about how you've got to where you are now. Just talk to us about the beginnings.
Hard work, man. Hard work. And I feel great, Dave. I feel great, man. Life is good. And as you said, they're coming off 3 knockout wins, all in the first round. And how did I get here, man? As I said, just working hard, grafting, going through all the things I went through and coming out better on the other side. So I'm feeling great, man. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. No, I was at the show. It was a fantastic knockout. It was a fantastic entrance, as always.
The cannon, they call me, you know, yeah? The cannon, boys. Go on, yeah, fantastic show, yeah?
It was a good show. Yeah. And then, like that, I follow, you're one of the few fighters that I've actually caught from the start of their MMA career. It was Maga from Samsung as well, who actually put me in contact with you. Yeah. And then I followed you since then. When you got into MMA, like, what made you used to box? So why did you transition over? What was it about MMA that led you down that path?
I always wanted to fight, you know, I always wanted to fight. And like, the first time was boxing. And I was boxing, it was actually when COVID hit, and I was boxing at the Glen Boxing Club, a place in Cork, and COVID hit, fucking the club closed down, and then John Mitchell was doing PTs up in MMA Cork, which was done in Blackpool at the time. And that's how I transitioned MMA. I'd done a few PTs at John, done a bit of wrestling, a bit of this, a bit of that, and just got hooked. Got instantly hooked. Now, I was kind of fiddling between the two then, trying to box. And my plan first off was pro boxing. That's what I wanted to do. But as I said, I had fights lined up, COVID hit, couldn't fight, and I fell in love with MMA, and I never looked back. And then eventually I had to give up the boxing. Like, as I said, I was trying to fiddle with two, but I had to go for one. You know, it's either one or the other. You couldn't mess around with the two. Like, you could do a bit of training and improve the boxing, and then do your MMA classes in between and stuff, but eventually only all roads led to MMA. And that's basically how I got into boxing, or got into MMA, is over COVID.
Yeah. COVID changed the course of a lot of people's life.
Yeah, 100%. But I was always a fan. I was like, I was watching McGregor for years, do you know, and that's the main reason I probably got into fucking MMA. Half the country's done MMA because of McGregor, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I was always watching it and I was always keen on it, but I was boxing at the time, and I think it just, as I say, I always say everything happens for a reason, right? And this is why we're here now, do you know, so. Yeah. Happy days, brother. It's working out very well.
Yeah, no, I like that. A lot of people, I think the generation that's coming through now is from Conor McGregor, and Nate Kelly from SPG is a great example. The guy who was at the press conference years ago, and now he's fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
now everyone's doing it.
Yeah, now everyone's doing it, and it is credit to him, because if you look at the timeline, he started 2014, really hitting UFC. So this is kind of the generation from that. But you went straight into the Nationals.
Straight to the Nationals, into the deep end.
Talk to us about that. Obviously, you performed before or competed before, but what was it like doing the first time MMA on a stage like that?
I actually never competed. I didn't even compete in boxing. I never competed in any sports. You know, like, I played rugby a bit. You know, I played football, hurling, soccer, physical sports, but never fighting. So it would have been my first competition regards to martial arts or regards to any contact sports, you know. But I got a good win against Ross O'Brien. Yeah. The first day, good performance. This, that, and I thought, like, my coach Anne and Jack, they obviously knew I was ready, do you know. And I was ready, definitely. I was certainly ready. I was going well in the gym, a great takedown defence. My plan wasn't to do jiu-jitsu. I didn't have much jiu-jitsu. I barely have jiu-jitsu now, at least that. But my plan wasn't was just to strike and not to get caught up in the jiu-jitsu stuff, you know what I mean? But then obviously I was taken down the second day with Cameron Clements, and he took me down, and what happened, you know. But then, like, as I said, it was a great learning curve, you know what I mean? Like, the Nationals was a great learning curve for me, because I went back to the gym, even though I went on another losing skid, and went to 1-3. But all these losses, you need to learn, you know what I mean? You need to learn. So the Nationals was a great experience, but right into the deep end, maybe a bit too much too soon. But it doesn't matter, because look where I am now. So I've zero regrets. So I think all that happened for me to be here now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so too. And with the weight class you're in as well, there isn't a huge pool in the country, as you found out, trying to get matched as well, like when fights fall through. But you talked about there, going into the Nationals is fantastic for your first time and what you learned from it. Then you talked about the skid, and then there was one night here in Cork, me and you done an interview after you beat Jess Paolo, who came in to fill the main event spot against you, and you won the fight, and we done the interview at the back, and one of the things you said to me, and it really struck me, was you got too used to losing. Speak to us about that, and when did that change? Because you said in the interview
it changed because of that feeling. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because of that feeling, like, so I went 1-3. Was it Mantis 1-2? Oh no, Chris McCarthy 1-2, 1-3 Mantis, and then I found just Paulo, at the time the best middleweight in the country. Yeah. The best middleweight in the UK and Ireland, actually ranked number 1 in the UK and Ireland. Do you know what I mean? So went up against him, no one thought I was going to win. Do you know what I mean? And after the Mantis fight, I said, this feeling of, like, I wasn't that pissed off. Like, I was obviously, I was upset about it, man. Do you know, like, but I got too used to that feeling of, like, I should have been a lot madder than I was. You know what I mean? Over a loss like that. And I was like, if these losses go on and go on, I'll just brush it off or just, you know. Whereas I can't think like that. If I'm trying to make a life out of this game, I want to be the best in the world. Do you know, I want to go somewhere with this game. I can't be like, it's just a loss, grand. Do you know what I mean? I have to take it more serious. You know what I mean? So that's what I meant by I was getting too used to losing. So then a competition or a fight against Jess Paulo, and changed my whole career. Do you know what I mean? Changed my whole career, hands down. Beating Jess Paulo, because the confidence I got from that. No, then we went on to another fight with the fat bastard, but on to that next fight, and then lost that fight. But I still think that it was a big change in my career. After that, I went on a 7-fight winning streak. You know what I mean? 7-fight winning streak. Didn't lose a fucking round. Didn't lose a round. So, you know, losing those couple of fights, losing that 3-fight skid, and then the one against Ward, losing them, I think changed me completely. Like, as I went back, I corrected my mistakes. I got a lot better in every department. You know what I mean? And especially the striking now. You guys have seen the striking now in the pro game. Especially those small gloves, brother. You know what I mean? No one's going to take that right hand. Potan Manning now, me calling me, yeah? But no one's going to take that right hand. And yeah, man, no regrets. Everything's going well.
Yeah, it was like that. That's one thing I noticed. Obviously, you bet Jess Paulo, he was top of the pile, like you said. That would give you the confidence to go on. Like I said, you only lost one in your next few. Yeah. And you can see the visible improvements, in my opinion, whether it be the wrestling. I think when you took people down as well, you're quite vicious as well. Yeah. Like, you had some good fights. Yeah. You walked through a set and Coakley, he hit you right there, and you kept walking. Yeah. What you credit that chin?
Credit him, brother.
What you credit? Because not many people can take that shot from Senan.
No one can take a shot like me, and no one can throw a shot like me. Yeah. But I think the shin is something maybe a lot of street fights I had, man. A lot of street fights, like, you know what I mean? So maybe it's down to that. Maybe, as I said, I won a lot of street fights. I lost a lot of street fights, you know what I mean? I got hopped in crews before, you know, this and that. Maybe so you get enough baitings, you know what I mean, that you're going to condition the chin, or maybe just so much sparring. Maybe coming from a rough boxing club. Every boxing spar is a fight, you know. It's not the way we touch up here and stuff. Every boxing spar is fucking brain damage, man. Do you know what I mean? CTE Island, yeah. But maybe that, or maybe it's something you're born with. Same with power, something you're just born with. I think I'm just born with mad power, and then I'm working on that power as well. So, which is it's going to be the Cannon Manning. Do you know what I mean? The Cannon Manning, yeah. So yeah, that's fucking that, man. Isn't it?
Yeah, no, and like that, you could see, obviously, as you start your pro career, you've got the knockouts, and that's one thing I was going to get to was the power, because you had exciting fights. The one with Chris McCarthy. Chris McCarthy Premier was one of my favourite fights.
Yeah. Think of it like all these fellas, I chin the clean. Remember, just Paulo, I call him as well, clean, the amateurs, Ward, I call clean. Sending, and I hurt them all, I buzzed them all bad. Just my reckless. I'm only after getting used to like fighting with composure now, you get me? Like before in amateurs, reckless fighter. Reckless. Now I got some big wins, some big performances, this, that, whatever, but just give everything, wreck the rest of the fight, you know? But I'm landing big shots, and then I'm shooting stupidly, whereas I landed big shots, I should be composed, I land a big shot again, I'm going to get the knockout, you know what I mean? I would have got it plenty of times over and over in amateur, but as I said, reckless fighting style, inexperience, immature, and that's changed now. Finally, thank God, going pro, because I hate to go into pro and have to fight for 15 minutes, possibly 25, and going all out, and then fuck the rest of the fight. Because that's when you'll get finished, you know what I mean, or whatever, get knocked out, fucking this, that. I think I'm just more composed now, but I always had that power. Just IQ wasn't there in the amateurs to me. Not in regards to finishes. Or grinding out decisions maybe, but I could have finished a lot of people, you know, with the power I had and with the clean shots I landed, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, but now obviously
less of the power.
Obviously we can see that now with the 3 first round finishes.
Yeah.
But throughout the career, like you've got Aaron, you've got Jack here. You talked about John Mitchell. Obviously, he's away in Dubai at the minute, but he's a big influence here. Yeah. Talk to us about this gym and what the likes of Aaron and Jack mean to you. And Jack coming back fighting, especially, was that a big boost for the gym?
100%, man. And Jack, they mean everything to me, man. You know, they've turned me into a different man, you know, a different person. Even like I'm a better person now because of this game. I'm a much better person. I'm much more confident. You know, there's a lot of differences in my life because of this game, MMA, because of grind and hard work and discipline. You know, and that's after changing my life for the better. I don't know what I would have been doing or where I would have been without doing MMA. You know what I mean? And major influences in the gym, and great coaches, and like what they're doing here in this gym is incredible. Do you know what they're turning fellas like quick turnarounds. They go through the right system. They don't just fuck fellas into big fights or whatever. You know what I mean? They go through the right. Even with me, I'm like, Aaron was saying to go out fight Kamzat next week if I could. Do you know what I mean? Which I probably would. Do you know? Just because like I just want to jump at things. I'm impulsive, whatever. But they turn you back, and that's what I need. You need a voice, and they do it for the whole gym too. They go from novice to amateur, pro the right way, and we spar the right way. Everything's touching, everything's light here. Do you know? And that's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. And as I said, they're doing incredible work here. And it's some days it's like, fucking hell, am I even improving? Because the next fella you're sparring is touching you up or is out wrestling and is doing so well against you. But it's just that everyone's getting so good. The level of the gym is crazy where a lot of people are matched. Do you know? And like it shows too when other two boys are in Dubai now. But like they were made in here. They were made in this gym. John Cork, John and Paul. Myself, Jack, Aaron, do you know, and a lot of other fellas coming through. Liam makes a pro debut very soon. Do you know, he's another killer. Do you know, and you've Sam Driver coming through. Do you know, and you've Barry maybe going pro soon. So there's a lot of competition in this gym, and there's a lot of great fighters in this gym, man.
Yeah, it's one of the gyms that I like to cover. It's one of the gyms I've.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best gyms in Ireland, man, and it's probably the best wrestling gym in the country. Do you know what I mean? The best wrestling gym in the country now, certainly. You know what I mean? We pinned up against the cage, man. That's it. You know, that's a fucking fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've some fantastic fighters, like you said there as well. You've got Johnny, you've got Louise Brady, who's another one.
Louise Brady coming up. Jody McCarthy, another fucking beast, another killer. One to watch. They can't even get a fucking fight. You know what I mean, that's a good sign, isn't it? But another little killer on the up. Do you know? And she's only 18. Evan Horgan, another killer, 20, 21, whatever he is. My brother's on the up. Charlie. Joe got his first amateur win in hostile territory. You know, so. They're all, like, the future's bright. And then you've other younger lads. You know, you've Oliver and Jacob and Jack Doherty, all these young fellas coming up, you know what I mean? So, yeah, future's bright for sure for this gym.
Yeah, no,
and the no is fucking bright, bro.
It's very bright for you.
Yeah.
One of the big changes as well in MMA in the past over 12 months, I think, is Elite coming into the fray in the Republic, because obviously Cage Legacy isn't around anymore and there's not that platform for the Republic. Talk to us about Elite, what it means to you, and especially if we're being in Cork, because you travel everywhere. 6 hours set, like 5-6 hours to shows. What's it like to have it here and fight in front of your own crowd?
It's unreal. Like, I tell you now, it's we need more shows down the south, definitely. And even if they were up in fucking Limerick, Tipperary, an hour up the road for us, an hour and a half or something, you know what I mean? Which is, that'd be fine. But having a Cork is savage, because like, it's 10 minutes out the road. Do you know, we jump in the car, we're all out there in 10 minutes. Do you know, it's very close. Nothing like fighting in your hometown. Do you know, it was great fighting up in Cage Conflict, you know, walking out as Jay Snakes and this and that and whatever, and the crowd there and everyone in the car and whatever. But it's nothing like walking out in Cork. Nothing. Like even the show in December, which wasn't obviously the busiest show because of the time of year, but there's nothing like walking. Remember, I went for the joke and you were there for that, weren't you? And that was some buzz, man. Wasn't that some buzz? Like, it was like a fucking 10,000 in an arena. You know, there's only a few hundred in the hall, like, but the sound and the screams and this and that, fighting in your hometown and having a Cork is a must, you know. And the next show now will be in June, be another big show. Who am I walking out to then? What's the promo at? What's the promo at then?
No, and that's something I want to ask you about. Was one of the things you're known for, kind of like in the UK and out in Europe, is people would see your entrances more. So when did that start, and what brought that on? Because I remember when you came out to
fight. It was the Fat Pastor fight. That fucking it was something to do with that was so dark, you know. What were you saying about shade? I interrupted you there, sorry. What you said about shade?
No, I was going to say when
I heard a shade.
No. You walked out to The Sopranos, for Jess Paolo, and then obviously you were fighting Dara. So it was Dara when you decided to do it, and was it because of the build up to the fight?
The build up, and it was very dark. And it just, an idea just came into my head. Do you know, and I never even saw fighters walk out like this with masks on and this and that. It was just something that clicked in my head, man. I swear to God. And I was like, I have to get a mask for this fight. Like, then I said, Michael Myers mask be perfect. And I went straight to Amazon, I bought the mask, man, and that was it. Then just on the build up to the fights, watching Halloween and Michael Myers movies and shit. That's what I like to do before fights, you know. Like the night before this fight in Cage Conflict, I like to watch Jason X, or I like to watch my character and get a bit fucking evil minded before the fight. You know what I mean? I like to watch the Joker the night before the fight, the Cork show, in the May Cork show against Figueroa. So that's what I like to and it started with Ward and then just built up. And with descending fight was just with the mask, you know, and it wasn't the whole costume. And then after the descending fight, I said, just part of the fight, I said, I was to get the full attire, I was to get the full kit, you know. And then we came up with promos, you know, Barry and fucking my management, Alpha Fighter Management, Rainis, we all came up with these promos, and now here we are, but you know, what's next? Like, unlimited possibilities here for these characters. And I tell you know, one of the days, if I got to get to the UFC, right, and I'm going to do a fucking Lee Murray, I'm going to roll back the years, do a Lee Murray, I'm going to be rolled out in the fucking or whatever the fuck they're called, Weebar York. And I'll have my mask, I'll have the whole app by, and I'll have my straight jacket. It's going to be done, but it's going to be some buzz.
It is good, and I thought that was an excellent way of marketing yourself as well, because you got a buzz around you. Whether people had seen your fights or not, they'd seen your entrances. Do you know the sort of way? There's clips going around. Yeah. They were very good, very entertaining. But like, you've continued that. You've gone into pro. You've gone to 3-0. What's next for you? What do you feel is next for you? Like,
what's next, man? It's up in the air. It's up in the air, man. It's up in the air. Octagon, Cage Warriors. There could be fucking Combat Global, but like what we're looking for really, there's a strong hold with Octagon, you know, the way they build fighters, the way they love the walkouts and this and that, you know, fighting in stadiums with 20,000 people, and what they're doing now for Will Flory and Frimpong and stuff, and there's other Irish fighters in the scene. Jack's fighting with him, you know, and I think Jack is booked. I think he's waiting for a fight for the 26th, so who knows where I go, but it's up in the air, and something will be finalised soon. But so yeah, we'll see where the next. But what I was meant to say was, it's up in the air, but we're looking for a kind of contract where it could be 3-5 fight deal, whatever, but allow us to have one fight to fight somewhere else, to maybe fight in Cork again. Yeah. Maybe have one big Cork show, or maybe fight in the UK, or one fight deal where I'm allowed to fight outside. Do you know? Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? I see EFC there in June. It could be on the cards, but we'll see.
Yeah, you could be, and like that, it is. Some places do contracts like that, so hopefully that will be able to get worked out. And in the last 12 months, less than 12 months, you've had 4 fights, right? And 3 of them have been professional. Are you planning on staying as active as
100%, man. Oh, give me all the brain damage you can, boy. Or I'll be giving all the brain damage, bro, yeah? I swear to God, man, with that power, I'll be handing out, dishing out with CD, I'll be handing out, yeah? And that's my plan, staying active as fuck. Do you know, I want to fight. Do you know, like, I have this thing where I like, even people try to tell me to take breaks. I can't switch off, bro. I need to go, like, you know what I mean? And I want to fight in April. I want to fight in fucking June. I want to fight in July, August, September. I'm going to have a lot of more fights the rest of this year, bro. I'm going to have a lot of more fights, but yeah, could be 3 to 5, 6 fights. I don't know, man. I'm just going to fight. Just going to keep staying fit, staying active, staying ready. I go into fights and keep knocking fellas out like that. I can fight again the week after, bro. You know what I mean? There's no problem. I can fight right now. You know what I mean? I can fight now. So staying active, staying ready, being smart in the cage, not getting sucked into wars and gassing myself out, being technical, knocking fellas dead, coming out fresh into the next one. Do you know what I mean? That's my plan. And yeah, it's going to work.
Yeah, I don't think you've even taken much damage, if any damage at all, in your pro career.
A couple of wars, Ward and Chris McCarthy. Just two wars they were, you know. But all in all, I was grand in a couple of weeks, you know what I mean? Bit of a bust nose, couple of belts along the way, but look, I can take a good smack as well, you know what I mean? And going forward, you know, if I have to get into war, of course I get into war. You know, people now are starting to think I'd say, I want to see him tested. You want to see him in deep waters. I've been in deep waters. I've been in the trenches a lot of times, you know what I mean? Through my amateur career. Been in 3-round wars, like, you know, and taking smacks and a couple of concussions along the way. Giving concussions also. But, like, I've been in the trenches, like, so I can't wait for the test. Someone needs to come and test me. Do you know, I want the fucking test. And I want to go at half fight. And, yeah, it was supposed to be Sean McCormack, but look, that whatever happened there happened, you know what I mean? And then your man Delmar Silva, like 16 pro fights, right? 16 pro fights against 2 pro fights. But it looked like I had 20 pro fights in there. Who looked more composed in there? That motherfucker was never knocked out in 7 years, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was actually in a win streak the last couple of fights. Negative record, but still 16 pro fights, no joke. And no one has stopped him like that. No one has stopped him like that. So that just sums up my power, do you know?
Yeah.
And plenty more to come, man. Plenty more to come.
Yeah.
And I can't wait, brother.
like you said, you were in the trenches with the likes of Darragh Ward, Chris, Sen and Jess. Like you
they were killers, man.
All
killers.
these fights.
Yeah.
This is why I think amateurs should take the hard fights. Obviously, once you're at that level, because it's only going to benefit you going forward. There's no point trying to pad a fucking an amateur career, and you can see what it's done for you in pro. But look, I'm going to ask you 2 more questions. I'm going to let you go. One of them is a 3-part question because it's about 3 fights. What's your favourite finish? Your favourite fight? It could be just anything, whether it was exciting or just something about
my favourite fight in the past or favourite fight like
your own favourite fight
that I had. Like,
you've had.
All right. So that's the favourite fight, favourite knockout. What's the other one?
And then one you learned the most from.
Right. So favourite knockout has to be is either a straight right or is it fucking over? I'd say a straight right. There's nothing like a straight right hand. Do you know that knockout was like crack? Do you know what I mean? It was like a fucking drug. I'm addicted. Do you know what I mean? Like connecting, boom, big shot. He's knocked out. What a feeling. Do you know what I mean? So a straight right hand has to be the best knockout. My favourite fight. Favourite fight does have to be a war performance. I think the Jess Paula fight.
Yeah.
Piers Paula fight had to be a fight. What a performance. You know what I mean? Just completely outboxed him, shut him down, first round, out-wrestled him, beat him at his own game. And what a performance, you know what I mean? That was a good one. So I don't want to be disrespecting Jess if he sees this or whatever. You know, Jess is a phenomenal fighter, great future. But just the way he's such a top talent, and I was able to make that one so one-sided, you know. So that had to be my favourite fight. And what was the last one?
One you learned the most from.
That I learned the most from.
It could be win or a loss. Doesn't have to be one or the other.
One I learned the most from was, I suppose, probably the war fight, yeah. Probably the war fight, just the way that went and the way things, even though we didn't really wrestle that much. But yeah, probably the war fight, man. So since I lost that fight, I went on a 7-fight winning streak. So everything I was doing wrong, I kind of corrected, you know what I mean? And yeah, every loss I learned from though. Every loss, like I learned a lot from the Mantis fight, more jits, and I learned a lot from the fight with Clements and stuff. But yeah, probably that one that stands out, probably the war fight, yeah. And like now, you know, I'm gone here and he's still down there, and it's just funny to look at. Hey, Darragh war fight to step down for me. How about that, huh? But look, I can see, I'll see him soon.
We'll see what happens with that one. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing where you're going to go with the options you have, and it's good. And
maybe I might not go to Cage Warriors, you know, like Cage Warriors might go to Octagon. So like, there's a lot of fights to make in Cage Warriors for sure. A lot of fights also to make in Octagon. Do you know what I mean? There's fellas there. There's some good middleweights there, and they'd build me well. Do you know? So maybe we're just going to sit back and look at all options and see where we go, man. See where we go.
And you're right to have obviously a management crowd in with you
as well.
Yeah,
definitely. I need to be advised, brother. I'm the most impulsive man of all time. I'll accept any fight just like that, you know. And then next thing I have 10 fights in front of me. You know what I mean? So yeah.
The last question, I want to thank you very much for your time, but the last question is, when someone hears the name Brian Manning in relation to MMA, what do you want your memory to be, or what do you want to be the first word?
Oh, you're a superstar, brother. A fucking, I want to be a legend, man. I want to be just known as just a man who gave it his all, like, you know what I mean? I gave it my all to this, and I put the work in, and so just don't give up on your dreams, man. And if you want to chase something, fucking chase it. Like, I'm proof of it. Like, you know what I mean? Look where I'm getting. Like, people, if they're thinking they can't do this, can't do that, just put the work in, man. Like, and it's not going to click straight away. But don't give up. Don't turn around and walk out of the gym. And I'm never going to get there. Don't have that attitude. You know what I mean? I still have days when I'm like, fuck's sake, and you know, I shouldn't be getting beat by him or this and that. And then I just have to leave go of that ego, strip yourself of the ego, man, and just keep coming back. Keep coming back, bro. And things will work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure watching you, like I said, from the start to now, and I'll be here for the rest of the journey. I want to thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it, brother.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Appreciate it. Top man. Get up, boys and boys!